Well, hello, Tube. Today we've got Michael Crichton's The Lost World. Bear with me. Two disclaimers. One, new setup. I'm using my MacBook Air. I'm using a Nexigo fancy webcam because the webcam on this thing is terrible. We're trying it out. This is the first video trying this. This may work great. It may suck. I don't know. Second disclaimer. I don't know what my disclaimer. There will be random balloons that go flying somewhere. I don't know where those came from, but we're leaving them in. We're going with it. I hope that's in there. I have no idea what I did or said to do that. I didn't even touch anything yet. And I have balloons flying. Am I still recording? I'm still recording. We're leaving it in. Lost World, Michael Crichton. Please consider liking and subscribing. I don't know if this is your first video here. You're not liking or subscribing this already. Playlist down below too. Go if you would like to go peruse. I have tons and tons of playlists, like 300 something videos. It's a lot of stuff. Affiliate link to bookshop.org as well, where if you used to buy this book or any other book, I get an eensy weensy bit of commission. You get an awesome book at no extra cost to yourself. It's a win-win. I remember my second disclaimer. I read this either end of 2023 or the beginning of 2024. So it's not fresh. We're going to do my best, though. I want to do my best. About Michael Crichton. Born John Michael Crichton, October 23rd, 1942 in Chicago of Illinois. Died November 4th, 2008 in LA, California. He went by three different pen names: John Lang, Jeffrey Hudson, and Michael Douglas. Michael Douglas is actually a combination of him and his brother, Michael Crichton and Douglas Crichton. Just a little tidbit. So if you're looking for like Michael Crichton's really early stuff, might be under different names. I know the John Lang stuff's just recently got republished under his real name. So about the Lost World, publisher Knopf. Publication date September 8th, 1995. 393 pages. Let's see if that's. Sometimes it's correct. Sometimes I think they count blank pages and everything else. 393 without the blank pages. The movie, it was a movie, all right, directed by Steven Spielberg, had Jeff Goldblum, Ian Malcolm, Julianne Moore, who was the female doctor, I believe. I haven't. It's been a minute since I've seen the movie. Released May 23rd, 1997 in the United States. I think it came out like a week or two earlier in just like LA. $73 million budget, made $618.6 million doll hairs in the box office. So yeah, Steven Spielberg. So the synopsis comes straight from Michael Crichton's website. I'll put a link to that down below if you want to go check it out. It's actually a really cool website. 6 years after the death of John Hammond and the mysterious destruction of the Jurassic Park island of Isle Nubla, mathematician Ian Malcolm discovers a second island off Costa Rica where Hammond created his genetically bred dinosaurs. He travels there with a scientific research team, including a paleobiologist, Richard Levine, Sarah Harding, which I think was Julianne Moore, and two stowaway kids, Kelly and Arby, because Michael Crichton has to incorporate annoying little brats in all of his books, both 11 years old. Once on the island, they find themselves on the run for their lives from some of the killer dinosaurs with whom Ian has already crossed paths, along with some new killers. The group not only has to contend with dinosaurs, but with murderous rival scientist Lewis Dodson and his cronies, who are out to steal the dinosaur eggs for themselves as well. Michael Crichton's in his own words, so he has a little blurb about all the books on his website. he's obviously not alive anymore, but somebody put him up there. So we just have to assume this is what he says, because he's not here to say, hey, I said that, hey, I didn't say that. It's the Lost World was really something that came from the readers, from the first publication. Don't blame the readers for this book. From the first publication of the book, kids began to read it and they would send letters. What about the sequel? What about the sequel? What about the sequel? Even when he's talking about kids, he makes them annoying. I had not ever done a sequel before and would always say there won't be one. Then, as time went on, they would say, blame it on the kids. Well, this would be a good sequel. Here's an idea for another sequel. Now you're reading them thinking, no, that's not right. No, we wouldn't do that. Then you start thinking, well, why not? Well, what would be good? Eventually, there did seem to be the likelihood there would be another film, and Stevens seemed to have some interest in that. It's a very difficult structural problem because it has to be the same but different. If it's really the same, then it's the same. And if it's really different, then it's not a sequel. So it is in some funny intermediate territory. If you say so, Mike. If you say so. So a new thing I've been doing in my videos, by meaning I've been doing, and this is the second video, I'm using ChatGPT. I'm just curious what ChatGPT thinks a good book review for the book The Lost World is. So I want to read that to you here, and we're gonna think about it together to see if we agree or not. Again, I read this several months ago, so it's not the freshest. So I'm not going to be able to pick up on any nuances or anything like that. I just realized, I wonder, are you picking up the dirty clothes? It is what it is. So The Lost World by Michael Crichton is a captivating sequel to his groundbreaking novel, Jurassic Park. Set 6 years after the disastrous events on Isla Nublar, this gripping tale follows a new expedition to a remote island off the coast of Costa Rica, Isla Sorna, known as Site B, where dinosaurs were bred and raised before transporting to Jurassic Park. I believe that's correct. Crichton masterfully blended science fiction with suspense as he once again explores the ethical implications of genetic engineering and the consequences of humanity's hubris. The novel delves into themes of corporate greed, environmental conservation, and delicate balance between progress and responsibility. The characters are vividly portrayed, each with their own motivations and flaws, adding depth to the narrative. Dr. Ian Malcolm returns as a reluctant hero. More on that later. Joined by a diverse cast of scientists, mercenaries, and thrill seekers. Each facing, are the thrill seekers the kids? Each facing their own personal challenges as they navigate the treacherous island filled with prehistoric predators. What sets The Lost World apart is Crichton's meticulous attention to detail. I have stuff popping up. I'm hoping that it's not like screwing up anything. And his ability to blend scientific concepts with heart-pounding action. From the breathtaking descriptions of the island's lush landscapes to the pulse-pounding encounters with dinosaurs, the novel immerses readers in a world where the line between fiction and reality blurs. While some critics have pointed out similarities to the predecessor, The Lost World stands on its own as a thrilling adventure that expands upon the themes introduced in Jurassic Park. It's a cautionary tale that forces readers to confront the consequences of playing God and reminds us of the importance of respecting the natural world. Interesting. What's beeping? Am I still recording? I'm still recording. Why are you beeping at me? Interesting. ChatGPT doesn't capitalize God. Just so that you know. In conclusion, The Lost World is a gripping, thought-provoking read that will appeal to fans of science fiction, adventure, and suspense alike. Crichton's skillful storytelling and imaginative world building make this novel a worthy success successor to the original, cementing his legacy as one of the greatest authors in the genre. That was a lot. So that's what ChatGPT came back for The Lost World. Not too shabby. I didn't see anything glaring, unlike the last one I did. There was one big glaring thing in it. By the way, if you want to play around with ChatGPT, it's completely free. I'll put a link to it down below. It's kind of fun. It's definitely fun. It's AI software. You can type in anything you want. You could try to play chess with it. Like it's not very good, or maybe it's getting better. Like it's fun to play around with. So check it out. Completely free. So my thoughts. We're finally to my thoughts. What did Booknik think about The Lost World? I think they should have stopped with Jurassic Park. This very much felt like, so how I understand it. Michael Crichton didn't want to write the sequel. Steven Spielberg wanted to do a sequel because he wanted to make another $1 billion movie. And so Michael Crichton, of course, he obliged. They still didn't really use much of the book that I can remember. Like Jurassic Park 1, they didn't really use much of the book. I don't know about the new. I don't care. I can care less about the new Jurassic Park franchise. But yeah, so it feels like Crichton really didn't want to do this. That's how it feels to me. The next book is Timeline, which is a completely different sort of a thing. And I'm wondering if his heart was elsewhere. It's rather tedious in spots. It kind of lags. It's not very good. I think a lot of the love of this book probably is nostalgia alone. Also, interesting fact, spoiler alert, Ian Malcolm dies in Jurassic Park, the first book. And according to Michael Crichton, it's actually on his website. I don't have the quote pulled up. It was kind of a something that I thought of afterwards. Basically, Michael Crichton needed somebody, and he needed Ian Malcolm to make this book work. And so he just brought him back. It's one of those, oh, well, even though he wasn't as dead as everyone thought he was, apparently. He was just sleeping very heavily. So Ian Malcolm comes back from the dead. So essentially there is a fight that goes on on the Reddits and stuff. People arguing back and forth about, did Ian Malcolm die? Did he not die? He died. According to Michael Crichton, he died, but he brought him back because he needed him. So there. So I think he explained it away in this book as more of a joke. Like, the news outlets were saying he was dead, even though he was not. But yeah, so there's that. This is just a money grab. This is a money grab. It's just not very good. The stuff about chaos theory is kind of interesting. Don't ask me what it is because I'm not going to be able to explain it properly, especially 3 months later or 4 months later. However, I do remember reading it, thinking that the whole chaos theory stuff is kind of interesting. Not worth 393 pages. This is really only needed if you are a huge fan of the Jurassic Park franchise and or want to complete Michael Crichton's bibliography. Other than that, you can just skip it. Go watch the movie. The movie isn't terrible. It's not the greatest either, but I think the movie, even though it doesn't, how I remember, it doesn't really follow the book all that much. I still actually kind of liked The Lost World, the movie, at least back in the day when last time I watched it. So, Michael Crichton's The Lost World. What do you think of it? Fair game. Go down below and say how much you loved it. I just didn't. I can see how just even nostalgia alone, how somebody could pick this up and like it. However, I think I just don't think it was really executed all that well. I just don't. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But if you want to go buy The Lost World, again, affiliate link down below at bookshop.org. That's it for this one, peeps. Cheers. Now, how do I stop? I gotta figure out how to stop this now.